This little guy is called a golden berry, and not only does it have a unique taste, but you can grow it at home, straight from a store-bought fruit. Start by getting some seeds. You can either slice the berry open and carefully pick the seeds out, or if you're feeling a little destructive, smash a few berries in a fine sieve and rinse off the pulp. Messy, but effective. Golden berries love well-draining soil. Mix potting soil with sand or perlite to keep things nice and airy. Cover the seeds with a super thin layer of soil and give them a little splash of water. Keep the soil moist, not drenched. A light watering every few days keeps them happy. And for a little extra growth boost, toss in some organic fertilizer. In just a few weeks, tiny green sprouts will pop up. Make sure they soak up at least 6 hours of sunlight daily. These guys love the sun. I filmed the whole process from sowing the seeds up to harvesting the berries in time-lapse for my main YouTube channel. If you like it, I will put the link in the description. For me, the flowering phase started pretty late with roughly 90 days in. But usually around week 8, you'll spot cute little yellow flowers. Golden berries are self-pollinating, but if you want more fruit, give them a gentle shake or play bee with a soft brush. A few months later, the husk turns yellow and papery. That's your signal. Time to harvest and enjoy fresh, homegrown golden berries. And there you have it. Growing your own golden berries is easy, fun, and way more rewarding than just buying them. Try it yourself and taste the difference. Let me show you how to grow your own jackfruit tree from seeds. The first step is to get the seeds out of the fruit. Since they're usually massive, I just bought a small pre-cut piece. You can simply remove the seeds by hand or use a spoon to scoop them out. Now, to help the seeds germinate, I like to put them into wet paper towel and put them in a warm place for some day. After just 10 days, the large seed cracked open and started to grow a small, healthy root. Now it's time to plant the seed. Use a well-draining potting mix and place the seed about 1 inch deep into the soil. For best results, choose a light, nutrient-rich soil. A mix of coconut coir and compost works great. Make sure to cover the seed properly with the soil and water it. Already, after about 2 weeks, the seed started to show some growth. Jackfruit trees love warm weather, so make sure they're in a sunny spot. They take a few years to mature, but once they do, you'll have your very own fresh jackfruit. Let us now see how the little tree grows its first leaves in time-lapse. The little tree started to lose its lower leaves, and I decided to stop the time-lapse project and plant the tree outdoors after a while, since I assumed that the 24-hour light were a bit too stressful. Thanks for watching, and let me know down in the comments what tutorial you would be interested in to see next. This little spiky guy is called a Kiwano, or horned melon. And you can grow one from a single seed. Here's how. I opened a ripe fruit, kept one seed, and tucked it into moist seed starting mix. Then filmed the whole journey in time-lapse. Soon, the first tiny sprout breaks through the soil. Small, but packed with energy. And since Kiwano is a climber, I pushed a simple trellis right into the pot to give it something to grab. From here, it really takes off. New leaves unfurl, the stem thickens, and tiny tendrils appear. Day by day, they curl, hook, and grip, climbing the soft ties and wooden stakes, inching higher with every day. I give it plenty of light and keep the soil evenly moist. Warm and bright works best. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I feed lightly. More nitrogen early, then shift toward potassium for flowers and fruit. At about 100 days, blooms appear. Look closely at the female flowers. You can already spot the miniature, spiky fruit at the base. I helped with a gentle brush pollination. Right after, the fruit set and began to plump up day by day. As the weeks roll on, the fruit gets bigger and bigger, and after a while, it starts to take on a yellow-orange glow. Slow and steady, but so satisfying. And this is how you can harvest your own Kiwanos at home. Did you know you can grow your own jalapeno plant just from a single seed? It's surprisingly easy. Let me show you how. First, I cut open a fresh jalapeno and carefully took out the seeds. Then I planted a few of them in moist soil behind a glass panel so I could watch the magic happen. Already after a few days, the seeds started to germinate. And around day 12, the first tiny sprout finally broke through the soil. From there, things got exciting. The little plant grew taller and stronger each day. To keep it happy, I gave it plenty of light and kept the soil slightly moist. Jalapenos love warm, bright spots. Every few weeks, I added a bit of fertilizer to boost its growth, and it really took off. Fun fact, jalapeno plants are actually perennials if you care for them well. They can keep producing chilies year after year. After around 80 days, the first tiny buds appeared and slowly developed, until they finally opened into delicate white flowers. To help them along, I gently shook the plant to mimic pollination. Jalapenos often need a little help indoors. After a few more days, you can see tiny jalapenos starting to grow out of the flowers. The peppers grew fast, getting bigger, firmer, and deep green. And finally, after weeks of care, they were ready to harvest. Fresh, homegrown jalapenos. Did you know that succulents are some of the easiest plants to propagate? Let me show you how. All it takes is gently pulling off a few leaves, and you can grow brand new plants. Just place them on top of some well-draining soil and give them a light mist of water every now and then. After just a few days in the time lapse, you'll see the leaves starting to grow tiny roots. A little later, small bumps appear, soon turning into brand new leaves. As soon as the leaves grow their first roots and tiny leaves, the growth really starts to speed up. With a bit of regular misting and plenty of bright, indirect light, they thrive. A touch of fertilizer every now and then will make them grow even stronger. Once the baby plants are strong enough, you can gently separate them from the mother leaf and plant them on their own. But I love the way they look in my little glass terrarium, so I decided to let them keep growing there. Over time, they'll form a tiny, colorful landscape all by themselves. It's just fascinating to see how such small leaves can turn into a thriving little world. And that's it. Propagating succulents is simple, fun, and super rewarding. From just a single leaf, you can grow a whole new plant, and with a little care, they'll keep thriving for years to come. Did you know that snake plants are probably the easiest plants ever to propagate? Take a sharp scissor, cut a leaf, put it in water, and here you go. At first, not much seemed to happen, just a leaf sitting in water. But with a little patience, things slowly began to change. Over the next few weeks, roots finally started to form. It was a subtle process at first, but once the first root appeared, you could spot new developments almost every single day. And those tiny bubbles? That's oxygen, produced through photosynthesis. Since the roots had developed nicely, I decided it was time to move the cutting into soil. I chose a light, well-draining mix to give the young roots the best chance to thrive. After a few more weeks in soil, the plant finally began to grow its first new leaf, a clear sign that it had settled in well. I kept it under a plant lamp and made sure the soil dried out completely between waterings. A light dose of fertilizer once a month was enough to support healthy growth. In the time lapse, you can really see how the new leaf pushes upward day by day. Watching it grow in time lapse makes the slow, steady progress feel even more rewarding. Monsteras are by far my favorite houseplants. I already had plenty of them, but I had never grown one from seed until now. I finally got my hands on some seeds and started this project. The seeds were about 1 centimeter in size, and I could already see where the roots would start to grow. For Monstera propagation, I liked using sphagnum moss because the roots usually thrived in it. So I decided to use it for the seeds as well. I put some sphagnum moss in a small glass Petri dish and added a bit of water to let it soak. After that, I placed all the seeds on top of the moss and watered them even more. In the time lapse I filmed for my other channel, you can see that the tiny roots started showing some growth within the first few days, though just a little at first. After a few days, the first seed in the middle showed real progress and grew a small green stem. From that moment on, the plant really picked up speed, and after about 4 weeks, it had its first leaf. At this point, I decided to plant the little monsteras in the soil. 4 out of 5 seeds germinated and developed great roots, as you can see. Since I wanted to film 2 plants in the time-lapse, I planted the other 2 in a separate pot. For the soil, I used my usual mix of perlite, pine bark, orchid soil, and a bit of worm castings. If you're interested in the exact mix, you can find it in my Monstera tutorial video. I carefully buried the roots in the soil, gave them some water, and continued filming the time-lapse. Let us now see how the first leaves of the plants grow over the next weeks in the time-lapse. After 75 days, each of the plants had grown 2 leaves, and a closer look at the stem showed that the first aerial root had finally started to grow as well. Make sure to follow my channel if you don't want to miss the next update. Thanks for watching.